Hello, besties. Welcome to Martinis with Eddie, your ultimate destination for everything Bravo. Join me as we spill the tea, dissect the drama, and uncover the juiciest gossip from your favorite reality TV shows. Guys, I'm still recovering from last night. I don't know if you guys watched the episode of Watch What Happened Live with Tom Schwartz, and I don't know what to say. Well, I have a lot to say, to be honest. We're gonna dive deep into his answers. If you have any questions, let me know. I usually start with, you know, Vanderpump because it came out last night, and then I go into Ultimate Girls Trip. But because I have so much to say when it comes down to the Vanderpump Rules episode and this Tom Source interview, I want to leave that for the end. So if you haven't watched Ultimate Girls Trip and you don't want to get some like spoilers, you might want to come back like in 10 minutes. I'm going to be quick because there's not much to talk about on Ultimate Girls Trip, but if you don't want to get spoilers, I'm just giving you the time for you to like maybe go grab a drink, get ready with your popcorn, bring your snacks, because the Vanderpump Rules segment is going to be juicy. But and if you are listening right now on the podcast version, you can just literally just fast forward this part. I'm just giving you options. I don't want to spoil the show if you haven't watched it. But if you don't mind spoiler, let's get into it. The girls in Thailand are definitely divided. I believe that I love Candiace. I'm not a big fan of Leah though. Not a big fan. Um, but I adore Candiace wanting to always be, protecting and making sure that Leah's having a good time. Um, I like that. But I want to talk about that part in a little bit because there was a moment where Leah passed out, and there is a lot of little commentary from the other housewife that I want to share with you guys. It's freaking hysterical. One of the main drama issues this episode was a bottle of tequila. And I googled the bottle of tequila in the US is about 100 something dollars. It's not that expensive. So I'm still trying to process why Giselle is making this such a big deal to the point of asking production to find people to check everybody's room. I'm like, okay, it's okay to be upset if your alcohol is being taken away or stolen or somebody's playing a prank on you. But this interrogation, this like making it like a clue episode, I was like, Giselle, are you that cheap or what's happening here? It's not a diamond necklace or like an expensive pair of shoes or something. It's a bottle of tequila. I think hysterical though that Pepsi was being messy. Pepsi was being messy by saying that he saw or think that a housewife took the bottle with them. I believe I will not be surprised if in the next episode we find out that this whole entire time that bottle was in Giselle's room. Because it kind of brings me back to Potomac. Giselle has negative 100 storyline. Negative 100 storylines. None, non-existent, none. So she needs to create drama so somehow she gets involved in the mess. And it feels like it's planned out in a way that the person taking the blame is Candiace. Because she knows Candiace. She knows how Candiace reacts to things. She knows how Candiace is going to defend her personal space and trigger her. That's just my opinion watching the episode. The moment that Giselle and Candiace were going head to head because Giselle was trying to get into Candiace's room, I knew that at that point Candiace bite the she took the bait because that's what Giselle wanted. She wanted somebody to say, I don't want you to come into my room. I don't want to say anything. But because everybody else said, okay, come into my room, you can check. And Candy said, no, there you go. She got what she wanted, the little drama where she's involved. But a bottle of tequila. I'm actually more interested, you guys, for the weed menu from the weed store across the street from that little restaurant. I'm like, I need an address, I need names, because if I'm traveling to Thailand for vacation or was not, I want to know where this weed place is located because it was kind of nice. They had like everything organized, and I'm thinking to myself, instead of fighting for a bottle of tequila, Giselle should have gone to the store, get some weed, and relax. Because this whole entire conversation in this on this episode about the bottle felt so anticlimactic. It felt like it just didn't make any sense. Like, okay, you get mad. Like I want to talk to you guys. If you go on a trip with your friends and for some reason your bottle of tequila goes missing, you get mad. You have the right to be mad because it's your money, it's your property. I mean, you want it back. But are you going to make the whole entire day so miserable for everybody just because that one thing is missing when literally Leah is passing out in front of you and admitting she had diarrhea? Like, come on, come on. I mean, I don't want to be mean. I don't want to be that person. But in all honesty, I think I'm going to hell because that whole entire scene with Leah saying that her legs were shaking, then she passed out, and that she said, I'm having diarrhea and I don't have my panties on. I'm like, that was just so freaking funny. I was laughing my ass off. I shouldn't be laughing at somebody, suffering dehydration. But oh my gosh, I don't know if it was the conversation. I don't know if it was because it was Leah doing so. Um, but I was laughing, and I'm not ashamed of admitting that I was hoping that she put herself in that moment. I was like, I mean, that would have been like to top this comedy moment. And like Giselle said, like, this is you are on the wrong channel. This should be on Comedy Central. Uh, yes, I agree, but not because it was a joke. It's because it was freaking hysterical. I'm gonna say that I'm pleased with this show. Obviously, the whole tequila thing is can be stupid, can be unnecessary. It's messy for no reason. It's literally for no reason. But I'm pleased that we are getting such interesting cast that most people were doubting when the cast was announced. Most people said like this is going to be so bad. It's not going to be funny. They don't make any sense. They're all fighting, and it's actually quite hysterical. One thing that I'm not very happy though is that we're still talking about drama that happened on previous season they just finished. We talked about the Jen Shah overall. They talked about the black eye. I don't want to hear about it anymore. I'm tired of the black eye. I was sick during Salt Lake City. I didn't need to have this um, snowball of storyline going into Ultimate Girls Trip. Um, we talk about the Whitney and Heather fallout like every single episode, and I understand that needs to be done. Like we talk about Giselle and Candiace fighting. You know, um, I I wish that maybe this Ultimate Girls Trip was maybe number four, just to have like a break, because uh listening to Heather lie one more time about the black eye, as we didn't have enough during Salt Lake City, or Candice and Giselle talking one more time about Giselle lying or exaggerating her feelings about the situation with Chris and what's not. Like, okay, like we know that you guys are mad at each other. Like yeah, but focus on something else. There, you guys are in Thailand. You took all this baggage all the way to Thailand. Like, how much you paid for baggage? I mean, like honestly, like how many luggages you put in all this baggage that you brought from your seasons, and it can get a little tiresome. But I'm happy that we have somebody like Pepsi. Pepsi, it's what makes this season extra special. That guy puts so much effort into um, doing this whole Thai boxing moment, and some of the ladies didn't even appreciate it. Giselle got into the pool. Like, make the effort. This guy's been serving you and making sure that you are having a great time every single day, and you couldn't even put your gym clothes and kick some uh whatever, do some Thai boxing for like an hour. I mean, like, come on. Like, we can do better. That was I felt bad for the guy. Like, he went to Giselle, and he went to Portia, and they both shut it down from the get-go. I'm like, I'm happy the other housewives say yes and they were excited, because I would have been so pissed off if every single one of them turned him down. Ah, that poor guy probably in many occasions has regretted joining this cast. When the face that he was making during that launch, while Candace and everybody else was yelling at each other, and the camera showed him trying to like keep it together, that poor guy was so exhausted that if you watch the episode, on the way back home he's passed out sleeping next to Whitney. And I was like, poor guy. And then Whitney asked him, how do you feel about this whole experience? And he said, like, I don't even know what's real and what's fake. And that's how I feel when I watch Housewives. Like, at this point, we don't even know what's real and what's not. Are they really fighting? Are they really petty like that? Are they really wealthy? I just want to give a shout out to everybody who's listening to me right now. I have Kane Cordova, I have Aaron, I have LRGA Curbs, I have the real Cynthia too here joining me on the live show. Thank you so much for joining. I appreciate you guys commenting. We are gonna be talking about all the topics you guys are sharing. Um, I I gotta say one thing about Candice. Candice is like unmatched in the shade game. Nobody can shade like Candice does. Nobody. When she said, ask Portia about how people call sugar daddies or what's not, I was like, that is Candice. She just goes for it. She doesn't stutter. She doesn't think of the consequences. She just said what's on her mind and she go with it. And I appreciate that about her. She also dragged Giselle. She said like, I don't want to steal anything from you, because that's another thing. I can say that somebody's upset, but extent. Giselle went to the extent to accuse Candiace to be somebody who steal. That is kind of fucked up. Like, bro, don't don't accuse somebody when they haven't stolen anything from you, or when you don't have the proof that that person stole something, because it seems very suspicious that you went after Candiace, particularly Candiace, in this episode, and calling her, or saying that she has stolen stuff, or I mean, calling her a thief. It's the same situation that happened on the last season of Potomac, when she insinuated that Chris did something inappropriate. You know, those are heavy accusations. One was sexual harassment, and now is theft. I don't know about you guys. It's not funny. It's not okay. And somebody needs to call her out. Somebody needs to say something about that. Giselle has made so many comments and so many um, ignorant moves on her show, on her podcast, on the Ultimate Girls Trip. That, I mean, it's time for somebody to sit her down and let her know that sometimes saying some things can have consequences. On this Ultimate Girls Tour episode, she accused Candiace of theft, right? Like I mentioned in the last season, Chris got the the accusation of doing something inappropriate, kind of insinuating sexual harassment and whatnot. And on her podcast, I know I got some heat on Twitter for what I said, and I'm standing by my post. I do not care who agrees with it or who's not agreeing with it, but that is a serious sentiment from a gay man. On her podcast, I think it was last week or whatever, I don't listen to it. I don't care for Giselle or Robin enough to sit down and listen to their podcast. Not interested. But I run into a clip of them talking about Jesse, whatever, the guy who staged a hate crime because he's gay, whatever. And I appreciate them talking about this because it's something that is still happening and whatever. It's okay to talk about it, but allegedly they are reading in a article or reading a paper or whatever where it explains the situation, and in that paper or whatever they were using, there was a homophobic slur on it, the one that start with an F. You know what I'm talking about. I'm not saying it. Even as a gay man, I don't like to say it because I know that words have power, and putting that bad energy out there can hurt somebody. So I'm not doing that. But she went ahead and said that F word on her podcast. And even Robin, you can listen in the background, like, almost like, ah, kind of like, why? And and she knew what she was doing. Giselle knew what she was doing because she kind of stuttered as she was saying it. Kind of like, kind of, should I say it? Should I not say it? If you don't feel like saying it, don't say it at all. Because you know that you shouldn't be saying it. It's not your word to be said. And I do not care if you are repeating a story. I do not care. That's not an excuse because it's not your word to say. You can easily say a homophobic slur or the F word and you still get your point across. So you did not have to say that, Giselle. Um, so somebody needs to sit her down. I'm not calling for like boycott or for like don't listen to her podcast. I'm not accusing her of being homophobic. I'm not going to that extent. But somebody needs to sit her ass down and explain to her that sometimes you cannot be putting those words out there. You cannot be accusing people of stuff that you don't know for a fact that's what is happening. And that's how she creates storylines. Because yes, the bottle of tequila, the missing bottle of tequila, yes, that was the beginning of it all. But she realized that with that little thing, she could like take it to the next level by accusing Candiace of stealing it. I'm not co-signing on that. I think it's low, and I hope they find a goddamn bottle of tequila in her room, and she's embarrassed for doing so on national TV. That's my that's what I'm trying to say about that. That's all I'm gonna say. Another thing I'm gonna say about this episode is like I realize even more how Heather is such a pick me girl. Like I understand that you were a fan of the franchises, right? And I know that you are surrounded by icons right now. Like Alexia and Marisol are OG from Miami. You have Portia, who is an icon on Atlanta. You have Leah, well, Leah's Leah. And you have Giselle and Candiace. And it's okay to have like a fangirl moment, but her whole entire personality in this show has been being a pick me girl. She made a comment that kind of got stuck in my head. You know that they were fighting over this whole Instagram tagging situation, and she said, "Listen, at this point, I'm just glad that I got tagged. How embarrassing is that you are a housewife and you are acting like I don't know, like a family that the girls took for a trip. Like, have some self respect and some self awareness of who you are on the show too, because technically Heather is an OG, even though she's only been on 3 seasons. She is an OG character because I mean, what else she is? I don't know. From Salt Lake City, so it's Whitney. And before she has done the same thing too, like fangirling over Leah's book, fangirling over Portia's Instagram followers. I'm like, you sound so pick me, girl. Mm. And I'm happy that Whitney is kind of like calling her out in all her lies, like back to back. I need her to do it more in person. That's what I need. I need Whitney to call Heather a little more in her presence, but in her confessional, she's doing so with ease. So I can see how this is going to bleed into Salt Lake City 4, which is filming right now. So all this like drama that still happened in Thailand is gonna be talked about in Salt Lake City 4. Trust me, that is what is gonna happen. Same with Potomac. Potomac is filming right now. So whatever drama the Candice and Giselle are having right now is gonna be talked about on the show. And we are gonna be talking about it when that airs. Now, let's talk about Vanderpump Rules, you guys, because I know that's the one that everybody wants to talk about. It's having the highest ratings that we've seen on Bravo in a very long time. Um, it's insanity. Over a million viewers per episode in the last like 5 episodes. That is an insanity right now in the Bravo universe. Not that many shows have those ratings, and also not only the ratings, but the fact that this scandal situation has been talked about pretty much in every single news outlet. And not talking about bloggers. I'm not talking about like podcasters like myself. I'm talking about the big leagues, like the actual news, NBC and CNN and New York Times. They all mentioned scandal at one point. So Andy is very happy. I'm pretty sure. um, and he was very happy with Tom Schwartz's performance. You can tell in his face that he knew um, that he scored gold with his appearance, because everything that he said on that Watch What Happened live show, that interview, it was just madness, madness. He overshared. He was shaking. You can tell that he has social anxiety because that boy was sweating from head to toe. But before we get into the Watch What Happened live, let's talk about the show. Um, in this episode, there was a moment that I got so upset with Sandoval just because he decided to give uh, uh, James Kennedy an advice. He said to him, sometimes real power is having the power to do something and not doing it. And as soon as he said that, I was like, so why don't you follow your own advice, loser? You know, you had the power to not destroy Ariana in the process of you cheating with Rachel, and you still did it. So you have no moral compass and no ground to be giving people advices when it comes down to relationships. Because you suck, man. You suck big time. Another one who sucks is Tom Schwartz. In this episode, Schwartz and Katy, they have like a dinner. You know, they were supposed to mend their issues and be friends and all the stuff. And I'm so annoyed by the fact that Schwartz keep calling her Bubba or Bub or whatever. I'm like, dude, like, stop it. You're looking like a child. That part annoys me. And even the waitress who um was helping, or the hostess, he was trying to explain to her what Bubba meant, and she was like, I don't understand. Like, I yeah, no. I'll be like, I don't care, dude. Like, nobody cares. Like, sit down. During this conversation they had, they started talking about how um Katy felt with Tom not having her back. And he kept saying that he felt more um, like he was defending her more now they are separated. And she's like, what the fuck? When? Because the previous episode, he was fighting with her because she didn't want to give her room away to Scheana's bridesmaid. And he took Brock's side. And in all honesty, I do believe that Katy had the right to go to Mexico if she paid for the room. It's not like Scheana paid for it, you know? It's not like Scheana paid for her accommodations, so she needed to transfer that to the new bridesmaid. No, she paid for the room. And if she paid for it and wanted to go to Mexico, that's her freaking business. None of Tom Schwartz's business, none of Scheana's business, none anyone's business but her business. So people needed to like shut up and find another room or what, or find accommodation for the other person. It was not her job to give away her room. Um, not even for, not even just to like be like, okay, let me just do it for out of kindness. You know, it's not her job to fix this problem. That's a Scheana problem, not a Katy problem. And that's how I see it. It was so embarrassing that even the waiter when he was taking away the dishes and was not, he said like, "Excuse me, Senorita Buba." Senorita Buba. I was having second-hand embarrassment because it was the most awkward thing. And then obviously, Katie leaves the dinner and she goes to her room, and Tom is begging her to come back and talk, and she hung up on him, as she should, because he was acting like an asshole. And then Kristina and Katie get a surprise visit from Rachel to deliver the news that they can't use the preferred pool, and they would like them not to show up to the pool. And then the next day, what they do, they show up. Because this is one thing, you don't do that. You do not deliver kind of like threatening, messages to anyone, because you are pushing them to actually do it. That's our nature as human beings. We are feisty people. We are gonna do what we are told not to, and that comes from even like our teenage year. That's what we do as teenagers. Every single time that our parents said like, "Don't do that. Don't drink alcohol." What's the first thing that you do? You go and buy a beer just because you want to feel like you have the last saying. And that's what I feel like Katie's doing. I want to read this because it's really funny. LRGA Curb said, "It was so messy for Katie to go, especially with that girl who reminded me of Wednesday's first cousin, maybe from the Adams family. Anyway, for Tom to try and fit in time with her was not worth it. Face blue smiling." I'm screaming at Wednesday first cousin. Oh, fuck. You guys are messy, and that's why I love you guys. I mean, we as Bravo fans, we have this language that I feel like only Bravo fans understand. This quickness with the shade, this quickness with the reads, the with the metaphors and associating housewife or Bravo celebrities to some random pop uh thing like a movie like Adam's Family. I mean, I love you guys. I love you guys. You just kill me. LRGA curve, you just kill me tonight, and I love you for that reason. um, I don't know if you guys clocked that though. The next day, when the guys were having the bachelor party for Brock, Tom Sandoval and Tom Schwartz were having a conversation, and Tom Schwartz said that he feels uh, like checking out other girls is bad, or like he feels weird doing so. He's not ready for that, or he's trying to be ready. And Sandoval said, "Well, Ariana and I, we check out girls together and guys." And Schwartz looked at him like really weird, like what? I clocked that. I was like, wait a minute. Is he saying that he's also into guys? We've been saying that. I'm not trying to create rumors or anything like that. I don't care about people preferences. I do not care uh who he's sleeping with, a guy, a girl. I don't really care. And I just also don't like to assume people's sexuality. That's not my thing, and nobody should be doing that either, because sometimes we will be surprised, you know. Um, but I clocked that. I was like, wait a minute. Let me rewind this. Maybe I heard something wrong. And he said, "and guys." Okay, okay, Sandoval. Trying to be fluid here now. I get it. Maybe, who knows? I don't want to say anything. I don't want to get canceled. I don't want to get canceled. um, Another one that I really, really appreciate by being so uncensored is James Kennedy. He was saying that he's been to many, um, too many. bachelor parties and whatnot, and he's been in Europe and whatever, but he's never been to a place where guys are slapping their asses and grabbing their cocks. And uh, he even said like, fucking take some Viagra. I'm trying to do his voice. I can't do a British accent. I suck at it. But he said like, fucking take some Viagra and fucking a couple of kangaroos here. I die. I die with the kangaroos. Um, James is really good at the confessional game too. He maybe because he's freaking nuts, but he has no censorship. Sometimes can be his downfall too because he has made some comments about people's weight, which I don't like. Um, but yeah, one thing that I was kind of shocked to know or found out on this episode is the fact that Katie used to shave used to shave Tom Schwartz's armpit hair, and then he has the audacity to ask her to do it. And I'm like, is he for real? Is he drunk? Maybe he realized that interrupting the girl's conversation was the wrong move, so he tried to kind of like act stupid. Because then he like retrieved with his little puppy eyes and walked away, acting like a victim when he just interject a conversation that he was not invited to be in the first place, and asked Katie nonchalantly to shave his armpit hair. It's so fucking weird. Like, dude. I was like, this man has such a bad social skill. Bad. When that girl was flirting with him by the pool, the boy did not know what to do. It was quite embarrassing to watch. He has the game of a rock. None. Zero. No game. Hysterical. Hysterical. Another one who was really thirsty though was Rachel because she overheard, you know, Sandoval and Ariana and I think it was Scheana and Brock talking about, the Swords is ready to go and make out or date or whatever. That girl ran to that table with the quickness to the point that even Ariana said that her ears perk up, and she kind of did the whole ear thing, kind of like Britney Spears, "I'm a slave for you" hands. um, what is really sad though is if we been following the timeline of the scandal, but at this point, Rachel and Sandoval had slept together. And the episode ends with a very sloppy back kiss between Rachel and Tom Schwartz. Cringy. Cringy is an understatement. Sad. Sloppy. I was like, that tongue game is really bad. I can see it from here. And I'm like, boy, no. No, 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 no. Then it was time for Watch What Happened Live. And honestly, I think I need to take a sip of this water right here because that was a train wreck. Yeah. That train wreck was so bad that it was so good. We as viewers and even Andy was we were living for this whole entire thing. Living. Even John Owen Lowe was like, "Holy crap, this is so good, man!" Like he knows. He was like, "Bro, like this is going to be so bad. It is so good, and I'm so happy that I'm here witnessing this because it was iconic to the point of like how bad it was." First of all, um, Tom Schwartz said that he found out about Rachel and Sandoval back in August, and he did not say a damn thing to Ariana. None. Like since August of last year. He said that for him was a one night stand, or that's what Sandoval said. But you kept it quiet. Strike one. Strike one. And then it's gonna continue. Then he found out in January that it has evolved into full blown love. Being in love. And he did not say a damn thing to Ariana. Strike two. Then he continued to hang out with Tom, and obviously he was very aware of this situation because they traveled together. Tom Schwartz, Sandoval, and even Rachel were on a trip in January, and he did not say a damn thing to Ariana. It's strike three, and Tom Schwartz, you're out. Then he told Andy that Tom was so infatuated with Rachel, so in love, that Rachel is Tom's heroine. And my jaw was just dropped to the floor. Like I never expected to hear this. And maybe that's why Tom Sandoval is always next to Tom Schwartz to stop him from saying something, because last night's show, what he showed was that Tom Schwartz is going to just give you everything like war vomit. He's gonna come out. He's easy. He's an easy person to have to for him to talk. It's easy to get the juice out of him. So easy. He probably has social anxiety because Andy will ask him a question and he will try to avoid it, even though he already fucked up. He's still trying to be like a kind of like a politic answer, very general. But then you have John Owen Lowe next to him and asking him a follow up question, or kind of like encourage him. He was encouraging him to elaborate, and he went ahead and kept saying stuff like war vomit. Tom Schwartz said about the reunion that Ariana went off, as she should. He said like he wasn't expecting her to be the one who pretty much dragged everybody there. Well, everybody meaning Sandoval and Rachel. He said that Sandoval was the one who got the most heat. Like he said, like Rachel had moments where she got some heat, but the person who really was put on the fire and got well done, not even medium rare, not even medium, well done by the heat, was Tom Sandoval, as he should. You know. Also, he mentioned that the reunion was really exhausting, was mentally intense. There was physical altercations that he's still trying to recover, and he is still trying to make sure that some friendships are saved. He said that he communicates with Ariana, even though she hasn't replied to him, and I hope she never does, at least for now. He said that he still want to be her friend, but you were not her friend when it was time to be one, when it was time to let her know that she was being cheated on, and maybe it was time to pack it up and find somebody new. But he kept that to himself. That's not a friend. That is not a friend. Another thing that was really, really intense is the way that he talked about Katy last night. There was a moment that he called Katy a monster like 3 times when Andy asked him about where they stand right now, and he said like, "Well, in the past, like Katie's better now, but in the past, she overused the wife husband loyalty card way too many times, and Katy was a monster, and she was a monster, and da da da." And Andy's face was like, I don't know, you should be saying this. And then John Owen Lowe said, like, dude, are you sure the monster is the right word? Dude, are you sure? And and in typical Swords fashion, he went into panic mode, shaking and looking around like, did I say monster? Did I say monster? I meant angel. I meant angel. I'm like, no, dude, you call her a monster. You were very clear and very sure of what you were saying. You emphasized the word monster every time that you said it. That was sad to watch, but it was great for us. It was great TV. It's probably one of the most entertaining episode that I've seen in a while, just because Tom Schwartz has the awareness of a chipmunk that literally jumps in front of a car as he's driving, and that's why you always find them in the highway run over. Like, so gross. But that's how he is. He just jumps into the train that is coming towards him, and he doesn't know what to do. And he goes into panic, and he doesn't move. And then he starts sweating and saying more than he should. Andy definitely was happy with his performance. Andy realized that having John Owen Lowe as his co-host was the best idea, because John Owen didn't even focus too much on what he went to do, which he was promoting his show on Netflix. He talked about it. I wasn't even sure what show it was. Now I want to watch it. I'm gonna go watch it this weekend. It's only 8 episodes. Good. It's the type of show that I watch on a day that I have nothing to watch. But John Owen Lowe focused so much on the scandal and all this stuff that he was okay with just being kind of like acting co-host, because he was asking questions to Tom Schwartz every time that he had the chance and that opportunity. He was more interested in getting to know more about the drama. He was one of us. And for that, I appreciate him so much. I love him, and he should be hosting Bravo shows. I mean, give him the reunions. He should be, John Owen Lowe should be hosting the Vanderpump Rules reunion, because he was good. He drilled Tom Schwartz with ease, to the point that it didn't even look like he was doing that, But he was so invested that he got all the good juice from Tom Schwartz with ease. And if you are enjoying this juice that I'm bringing you guys, please give me a subscribe on this podcast, Martini with Eddie. You know, the subscribing and rating the podcast is how it helps us podcasters to thrive and survive in this sea of creators. Also, please go to my YouTube channel. I always go live there, and there is a live chat. I love every single one of you guys who came tonight. Left your comments. You guys are killing me with your shades. I'm reading them. I love you. I see you. Also, you can find me for Extra Tea on Twitter and also on Instagram as Martinez with Eddie. I have my own website, martinezwitheddie.com. And tomorrow, Friday, I have a very special guest or guests. The Brat Bros are gonna be joining me tomorrow. We're gonna be having a bro-tastic time. The bros have strong opinions, and I love them for that reason. And we will be here at 3 p.m. Eastern time. So if you want to join the conversation, just know, subscribe to the YouTube channel and click on the notification so you know exactly when we go live. With that said, you guys, I hope you guys have a great night. Love you so much. Don't forget to subscribe. Very important. Don't forget to subscribe. And like I always say, besties, say it with me. 1, 2, 3. Bye, besties.